Grand control to Major Time. Put your suit and jump on. Hello, everyone. This is Omar. What's up to the podcast called American Meat? I hope you guys are having a nice day. It takes me a while to stagnate to try to do a show because, when you're by yourself, you can't do it. Anyway, I'm happy to see you. Today's happy Thursday. Everything is going fine. Today's top story is the first American Pope. Congratulations to the Catholic Church for choosing their Pope. I wish them well. And congratulations to America of having their first Pope chosen since the beginning of what? Christianity? That is, wow. I hope my microphone works. Let me double check so I know. Anyway, the Pope, I forgot his name, but it was so weird how the Catholic Church chooses their what do you call it? How they choose their popes. I mean, it's weird that I don't know, they burn some paper, and if it's white smoke, then we're good. If it's black smoke, we're not so good. It's such weird, and it just adds intrigue to the way they do things. Let me see. If it's black smoke, we're not so good. Okay. It's such weird. You could call in if you want. There's a number there. I would love to have a conversation with anybody who wants to call. We could talk about anything you want under the sun. I love having conversation, and it gives me something to talk about or something to feed off. Anyway, congratulations to the Pope. I think he spent his whole life in South America, in Peru. It is what it is, I guess. I hope, yeah. That's it. I mean, that's good. The tariff war is still going on. It's a stupid war. I mean, like, for example, tariff like that. Sometimes the president probably has nothing to do and he wants to catch the headline like the other day. We're going to impose 100% tariff on movies made outside the United States. Now, you have a problem here. We're going to pay for those movies if they're made out of the United States. And the biggest audience of American movies are international audiences. I think last year, out of $32 billion in income the movie industry made, $22 billion was made in foreign countries like China and Europe. They love American movies in other countries, and leave the shit alone. If something is working, just don't fix it. If you want to offer some help, maybe you could offer some tax breaks to studios that make their movies here in the United States, things of that nature. You don't need tariffs. Not everything. They always say when you only have a hammer, everything to you is a nail. That's what it is. Donald Trump tariff this, tariff that, and the problem is he's embarrassing us because he's begging the Chinese to negotiate. You have to understand what he did to China was disrespectful. He's like, oh, I'm going to make it 25. What? I'm going to make it 50. When China raised their tariff, like, oh, you're going to raise your tariff on American merchandise? Yeah, of course they're going to do that. And he raised it to 145. Now, the Chinese are proud people. China is a big country. It's a consumer country too. I mean, they consume a lot of our brands, like phones, iPhones, things of that nature, technology, movies, sports. Now, we consume a lot of low-grade merchandise. What I'm talking about is like Walmart, discount stores, cheap shirts, clothes, ties, hats, things of that nature. But the problem with that is it affects the ordinary person like me and you. So the Chinese, they know how to play the game. What they did was, okay, so you're going to play this game? Okay, let's go. We're going to raise our tariff too. And we're going to close our factories or put a stop to all manufacturing until we come to you decide to come to a conclusion that is fair for everybody. So the American ports are down by 35 to 40% of shipping traffic to our ports. What that means is there's no merchandise coming into the United States. Now, why is it dangerous for Donald Trump to be doing what he's doing? I'm going to tell you why. First of all, if Walmart starts to laying off people or started closing stores, it's people who make what, $10 an hour, $15 an hour. These are the people who supported you. You're going to hurt. And the clothes, like people who buy shirts for $10 or $12, can't afford high brand merchandise. They buy these things that are made in China, in Bangladesh, and things like that. When they go to buy a shirt that was $10, now it's $20. It's a lot of problem. company called Temu, TMU. It's a Chinese company. It's like Alibaba. And what they did, when you buy something, it used to be free shipping. China will ship you free stuff from directly to the United States because they had a law. Anything under $800 doesn't have to be face any tariffs. So a lot of Americans, individuals used to buy individual items. What they did is they would include the tax of the state you're in and have another spot for the tariffs. So if you bought something for $22 and it's 144%, that means about $32 in tariff that were imposed by Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump always tell us, we're not paying it. The Chinese are paying it. Don't be afraid. He lies to the American people. But when Amazon wanted to put the tariff, when you buy something and they're going to put the tariff, how much it costs, he called Amazon. He said, don't do that. If you do that, you're going to have a lot of hell to pay. And they stopped. You know why? Because he knows that the people who are going to pay the tariffs are the bottom 90% of American people like me and you. It is what it is. Anyway, today I have a short show. I was watching, I think her name is Lilly Gaddis or Badass, whatever her name is. He was on the, what do you call him? The Piers Morgan show. And she was talking about the N-word. They had Mark Lamont, and they had the guy from Fit. I don't know what the other lady was from. That's why I have an issue with people who are claiming to be white nationalists. You could be a white nationalist without being a racist. You could be a white nationalist without saying shit that's going to hurt your cause or demonize you. Because every time you say crazy shit, you are giving ammunition to the opposition of the people you deem are your opposition. You don't need to say that. I had a guest one time in my old channel. Let me see. I don't know, man. In my old channel, and he was like a real white national. And I'm like, what do you want? And he's like, all we need to give us is West Virginia. I said, why would you pick West Virginia? It's landlocked. You have no resources, only coal. You can't survive over there. It shows you the mentality. I say, if you really want to build on a white state, go to Vermont or other states. Vermont is like 94% white. Let's see how you succeed there as a group. Instead of going on TV or this and saying crazy shit that hurts your cause and stuff like that, doesn't serve you any well, or travel in rental trucks, furniture trucks, and come out and do a march in a black neighborhood with these suits and these ties. These are all symbolic bullshit that doesn't help you or anything. You can, if you see like white people, I'm not talking about those white people who see themselves as no, I can't see that far, man. Who see themselves as being marginalized, or they're losing their right, or they feel like they're being, they have issues or problems. Yeah, hello, Salah. Ahlan, how are you? You don't need to go say the N-word to show your grievances of whatever cause you have, man. Just organize, man. Politically organize, man. Get people to vote. Get people to vote for your ideas. You get those poor people in the Midwest and in the Rust Belt. If they feel, just get them to vote, man. Run for office, and that's it. And do what you got to do. You're not turning the clock back down. America is not going to become a white country again. That's the toothpaste is out of the paste. I don't know why you guys do that. That's the dumbest shit. There's 150 million people who are non-white, and probably the majority of the whites are biracial anyway. Anyway, so she goes on, what's his name, on Piers Morgan. Let's see. Let's just. I haven't seen the whole thing. Let's go over this together. Wait.
You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say.
Okay, hold on. Okay, Piers Morgan is a drama queen. You know that, right? He's a drama queen. He loves. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3. Okay, here you go. Let's go. Let's watch this together and see what's up, right? Okay, this is on Piers Morgan, and she's talking about some crazy. Let's just watch.
She is. I mean, would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
Mm-hmm. I do, quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? other than the fact you're a despicable racist? Are you?
You see,
some would say I am. I guess according to the 80.
She just gave a weapon. She don't have to say. She said, if a smart person who really want to represent the white race, whatever the superior race is, you don't say that. You're like, well, there is no need for me to say such words. I don't have no use for such a word. And why would I use such a word? I'm above that. You understand? You don't go, yeah, I use it all the time. You know, whenever I get a chance, I use it. Good. Go ahead, Piers. What happened? Okay. Why did it freeze? Come on. Every time I do something, something happens. Go.
I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, but if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts.
So what does freedom of speech has to do with calling people the N-word or disrespecting other people? You have to help your own people. You got to create organizations, uplift the people in poverty in the Appalachian Mountains. You have a lot of people you could convert to your cause if you were smart, but like an idiot, you're going to come on national TV on one of the largest shows on YouTube and say some crazy shit and hurt your cause and leave people distasteful of you. And you're going to cut a couple of people. Yeah, she tell it like it is. She tell it like it is. Didn't you see that? We love that girl. She tells everything like it is.
She is. I mean, would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
There we go.
I do quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist. Are you?
You just gave me
some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist. I'm a neo-Nazi.
Yeah, but if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shiloh Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying
Shiloh Hendricks, I think, was an old lady who I don't know arguing with some black kids. I didn't see the whole thing. She said the N-word. All right, we passed it. I don't even know why Piers Morgan has a show on it.
Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter. That's a different.
Sorry, but just to be clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
What a fucking idiot.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
Is this your best? Is this the chosen people? Is this really the people you want to be represented by on TV?
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist. And you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country.
Your enemy is not the black people, honey. Your enemy is not the poor people. Your enemy are the rich, elite whites who use you as cannon fodder, who uses your communities as cannon fodder just for them to vote and for them to make money off. Don't go out after black people, or Arabs, or Hispanics. They got nothing to do with that. They just hustling, trying to get their shit going. Excuse my language. I find it idiotic when I see people like her or others who find themselves saying, I want to use the word whenever I want to. Why? You understand? I don't understand. You know who your problem is with. I did this shit again. Because I can't see that good.
appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
Every time she feels like it.
You're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
Yep.
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
Well, shame on white people for allowing themselves to be systematically discriminated against in the United States. This is our country. This is a country that should be.
What do you mean your country?
Because I'm white and my.
What, there are no black people in American history? Is that what you're saying? That they've all just landed in America, invading your white country? Is that your position?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they were brought here technically.
My God, do you understand how dumb you sound?
This is stupid. This is stupid and racist. And at some point, we have to ask ourselves, do we want to reward this kind of disgusting behavior by platforming it?
I don't disagree, Mark. Listen, I didn't know she was going to say that. I don't disagree with you.
No. Yeah. I'm with you. I don't think you knew ahead of time. I'm saying at this moment, someone who's saying technically black people brought up. No, technically Africans were stolen, enslaved, and they built this country. And the idea that you can justify calling a baby the N-word by saying that white people are losing the country is absurd. It's morally bankrupt, and it's honestly besides the point. I mean, all these are just distractions from the fact that she wants to justify dehumanizing and even animalizing a small black child. It's disgusting.
What is it?
Yeah, I never said that.
No, you may as well have done because you're just an unashamed.
That's the implication of your racist.
Let me bring in Myron Gaines because you've been smirking and laughing. What's funny about it?
Fucking token.
Well, I mean, I find it interesting that you guys want to virtue signal and, wag the finger and say she's a racist and everything else like this.
No, she admits she's a racist.
Well, let me
I'm not wagging a finger at anybody.
She's self-identified as a racist.
But Myron, with respect, Myron, I don't need to wag a finger when somebody says, yeah, I'm racist. I use the N-word against black people. I don't care. That's a racist.
What are you going to defend?
I'm not wagging any finger. I'm not accusing anybody. She is admitting it proudly. Even you can't defend that, surely.
Everybody is racist to some degree. The reality is it depends on a lot of people want to be politically correct. A lot of people want to sit there and say, I'm not racist at all. We all have biases. We all have stereotypes. We all make jokes. We all are racist to some degree.
Not a joke. You're serious, man. The fuck out of you. What happened? What happened?
That's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. Would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
What happened? Why
you would?
I do quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist.
Interesting that you guys want to virtue signal and, wag the finger and say she's a racist and everything else like this.
No, she admits she's a racist.
Well, let me
I'm not wagging a finger at anybody.
She's self-identified as a racist.
But Myron, with respect, Myron, I don't need to wag a finger when somebody says, yeah, I'm racist. I use the N-word against black people. I don't care. That's a racist. I'm not.
Okay, like an idiot, I uploaded the wrong video. Well, I do this all the time. That's why I'm disorganized and I'm not famous on YouTube. The whole idea is you don't need to go on national TV and tell everybody that you use the N-word every time you feel like it to whomever you feel to. The whole idea is you could, if people have, like the guy said, Myron said, they have biases. Of course, everybody has biases or some sort of, some sort of, see, I hit my nose. I hate that. Some sort of biasness or some racism in them. Everybody does. Everybody's a racist in America, believe it or not. But not a blatant racist. You don't go out and say, oh, no, I'm going to say it every time. I bet she doesn't say that anytime she wants to. And there's no need to say that every time you want to. Even with black people, I have no idea why you guys are picking on black people. You have other issues, man. The Zionists are taking over your country and you're chasing the fucking black people. Your problem is with the Zionists. They're in the government. They're all over the place, man. They have the money, you know what I'm saying? And you're chasing those poor black people in the subway station who are struggling just to get food stamps. You understand? You guys got the wrong people, man. I really do. I'm not trying to say that, but I said, if you think people are taking over your country, look who really is doing it. I mean, you know, look who's in power. Look who's always next to the seat of power. Lara Loomer, a crazy Zionist from Florida, fired the head of the NSA and their whole team by going to Donald Trump and saying that they're no good. That's the people who have the power, you fucking idiots. Not some fucking idiot guy named Leroy in someplace in Harlem, wherever. This is your problem. Anyway, let's go to Barstool. Now, Barstool, you know, it's a brand that is associated with young white frat boys or young men. It doesn't have to be white, you know, people anti-cancel culture, anti-liberals, anti-woke, you know, just living their life. And the majority of Barstool's brands are white, young Christian men. Now, the head of Barstool is David, what was it, Portnoy or Portnoy, or his name is David, whatever. He happens to be Jewish. Now, he has a rope to walk on. Somebody at his bar, some idiot who happens to be a Pakistani named Muhammad and some other boys, put up a sign in his bar in Philadelphia that says, "Fuck the Jews." You know, and it is I mean, it could have said, "Fuck the Zionists," that would have been better, but to say that, I think it was wrong. But somebody put it on social media, so he knew he had to react because he don't want to seem that he's appeasing anti-Semitism wherever, and he happens to be a Jew. At the same time, he doesn't want to hurt his brand by defending Jews. You understand how it is? That's how it is in the United States. It's crazy. So he has to bend himself into a pretzel. I have this brand that I made millions and millions of dollars. My base are young, white, Anglo-Saxon boys, a wasp from the northeast, like Boston, all the other areas. And some crazy kid orders a sign that says "F the Jews" in Philadelphia. It happens to be my bar, and my patrons are all white. So he came up with this video. I don't know if I have him in order. Let's see if I have him in order. But, you know, I usually don't have anything in order. So somebody put that on social media, and he had to react to it. Probably he got a call from the ADL. "What are you doing, David? What are you gonna do, David? What are you gonna do?" Let's see. No, that's not it. Okay, is this it? Yeah.
All right, real quick update on the "Fuck the Jews" sign that was at my bar in Philadelphia yesterday.
Okay.
2 hours ago, he literally could have cooked an egg on my head. That's how much steam and heat I had come out of my ears. And the more I thought about it, it's like these are young fucking...
Mind you, the whole thing changed when they found out the name of the kid. His name is Muhammad Khan. Once the Zionist accounts on Twitter and the Zionist organizations and the ADL found out that he happens to be a Muslim and he should be in a bar in the first place, then they changed the whole game. When they first thought they were just white, I'm going to take them to Auschwitz, let them go see those dungeons and those, what do you call them, gas chambers, and learn a lesson that it's not good to be an anti-Semite. Good. David.
Morons who did this. They're drunk. It's like you really want to ruin somebody's life. And let me be honest. I don't know what's going on in the world. I do. The Middle East, obviously. But I've been doing Barstool for 20 years. I've had more hate, more anti-Semitism in the last year and a half than I've ever had doing it.
Okay, let me see what's going on in the world. Oh, in Israel, there's the Jewish state called Israel is decimating a whole population, destroying their homes, their schools, their hospital, killed about almost 20,000 children between the age of 5 and 7 years old, killed about 10,000, 20,000 women and men. They have killed everything alive, and they are continuing to kill. And right now it's 60 days into a deliberate starving of the whole Gaza Strip. No food, no water, nothing is allowed in Gaza. It's been 60 days. Let me see what people are going to react. That's why there's anti-Semitism, you fucking idiots. You got to talk against that. You got to stand up against what Israel is doing. You have to make your position known, like other affluent Jewish Americans who want to stand with Israel on the murder of innocent people. Oh, I hate when I do this. I think I did it again.
Well, I do, the Middle East, obviously, but I've been doing Barstool for 20 years. I've had more hate, more anti-Semitism in the last year and a half than I've ever had to it. And whether people, it's like Kanye, the UFC guy, it's like mainstream lunatics.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about politics or what's going on in the Middle East, just hating groups of people.
Yeah.
You hate my parents, you hate my grandparents, shit like that. It's crazy.
Mind you, most of the anti-Semitism is all made up. There's no anti-Semitism. Especially in the universities. Name one Jewish student that has been attacked, or one police report, or one video of a Jewish student that has been attacked. At the same time, I could show you hundreds of videos of Jewish organization thugs going to universities and attacking the people in the encampments. This is all a game is played, ladies and gentlemen. You have to be smart and you have to always be aware of what's going on. They need to create the law of anti-Semitism that Jews are in danger, and they're going to use anti-Semitism to bully schools and universities and who they hire, who they admit to schools. At the same time, to cover the stench of the where they're shitting on and killing these Palestinian kids and children and want to take over their land. It is. You always have to think. What is it? You always have to see things with the third eye. Every time, there is no anti-Semitism. Even when you watch MSNBC, all these fucking media-owned channels owned by Zionists or liberal Zionists, Jewish, come on, let's say the word, Jewish Zionists or Jewish liberals in the United States who are Zionists won't talk anything about what's going on in Gaza. Won't tell you how many people are being starved. How many times have you seen on the major news that they are starving kids? Nothing. Go ahead, David.
So, yeah, my initial reaction was like, I'm going to fucking burn these people to the ground, their families, everything.
Narcissistic.
And it's like, you know what? Maybe
he's going to burn these kids to the ground for having a fucking dumb sign, F the Jews. You know how many times they have said F the Arabs to me all the time? I don't get, man, I don't want to burn the neighborhood down.
Maybe that's not the best course of action. Maybe I can use this as a teaching moment.
Yeah.
And like, before people just are like, fuck the Jews or any group and the hate, let's try to like turn a hideous incident into maybe a learning experience, as cliche and very unlike me. But I talked to both the culprits who I know are super involved in it, talked to the families. I'm sending these kids to Auschwitz. They've agreed to go. That's, of course, the Holocaust concentration camps. Been in touch with the Crafts, who run the anti-hate group. We're going to send these kids.
Nah, the Crafts are the people, the guy who's who owns the New England Patriot. What's his name? I know his last name is Kraft. I forgot his first name. What he does, he takes his whole team every year to Israel to show them how good Israel is.
It's Auschwitz, and they're going to do a tour of the concentration camps in Germany and hopefully learn something, and maybe like their lives aren't ruined and they think twice, and more importantly, other people like, see, it's not just like words you're throwing around. So to me, that's a fair outcome of this event. The two waitresses who worked at our place fired. One of them so dumb, Kelly, just the dumbest human ever.
And he names her. You don't need to name her or call her dumb, man, on Twitter, man. She could sue your ass for that. You don't need to call her. You fired at this. Shut the fuck up. That's the same thing as calling F the Jews. You're calling the person dummy. Watch. Hate when I do this.
The culprits who I know are super involved in it, talk to the families. I'm sending these kids to Auschwitz. They've agreed to go. That's, of course, the Holocaust concentration camps.
Yep.
Been in touch with the Crafts, who run the anti-hate group.
Robert
We're going to
Kraft.
send these kids to Auschwitz, and they're going to do a
Tour
of the concentration camps in Germany and hopefully learn something.
All right.
And maybe like their lives aren't ruined and they think twice, and more importantly, other people
ruining
like,
their lives over
it's not
sign.
just like words you're throwing around.
Fucking narcissistic.
So to me, that's a fair outcome of this event. The two waitresses who worked at our place fired. One of them so dumb, Kelly, just the dumbest human I've ever talked to. And I don't know if she thought she was making a political statement, but it was basically her alone. Didn't go to a manager. Kind of forced another girl to do it. She should have said no, but the other girl put up a fight. Those two girls are fired, but more importantly, the people who ordered these signs, they have agreed, I'm going to pay for it. We're going to send them to Germany, to Auschwitz, and learn a little bit about history and hopefully, get educated and use this as a teaching moment, not just for them, but maybe for everybody. So that's where we're at. So for everyone who wants these kids' lives to be ruined, I think you can lay off, and I think this is a fair fucking trade.
All right. Wait. All right. He said that before they knew that the person who actually ordered the sign was named Muhammad Khan. Once they found out that his name is not John or Jack or this, and this whole video was done to appease the Barstool brand. He don't want to create an animosity between him and his brand name, or people who follow his brand name, or who are his customers. Okay, that's what it is. Once they found out, then things change. Let's see what he says here. Okay.
All right. Another update from the sign situation at Barstool Sampson Street.
Another update.
I am so sick of dealing with, but obviously got to deal with. So last time I'm like, I thought about it. I'm going to send
I'm willing to bet you that David here is fucking like a chummy guy who jokes around and everything. He didn't even want to get involved. He didn't want to create a big deal. He got a phone call from the ADL, from that guy, what was his name, that bullheaded motherfucker, and the other guys, and he had to act, and he's just being he's being he's being bullied by rich Zionist Jews.
The two people responsible to Poland, to Auschwitz concentration camps, and try to make it a teaching lesson. I talked to both of them on the phone.
Right.
Both of them took accountability. Both of them were like, yeah, we did this. And we're willing to go and try to learn. Well, then I see a now deleted, I think it was an Instagram or Snapchat story of one of the kids, Mo Khan, the one who.
Once they found out he was not white, things got going, these fucking cowards. He knows that's the low-hanging fruit. If I could get this Khan guy, Muhammad, whatever his name, who should never been in the bar in the fucking first place, then everything is off the table. Once they found out the person who ordered this sign was not the person that they considered their usual customer or the brand that Barstool depends on, they threw all the gloves. Fuck it, we're going to ruin this kid's life now. They did. They took him out of college. He lost his scholarship. They went all out. And they like to dox people. You watch those Jewish Zionist accounts on Twitter? They're doxing everybody. 4 years ago, they were saying, oh, doxing is dangerous. It's dangerous. Now, all of a sudden, imagine if people start doxing those people behind those accounts, like put their pictures or walk around those thin trucks with their pictures and put it in front of their house. How would they react? Anti-Semitism and dangerous.
Who posted the video, and he has this long speech. We'll put it in.
Yeah.
Claiming he was just being a citizen journalist. He was just documenting his college life.
He's an idiot.
He had nothing to do with the sign.
He's an idiot.
Didn't buy it, had nothing to do with it, didn't even know what it was. He's just...
One thing I do agree with, yeah, you see him talk, he's a fucking idiot. That kid, I don't know how he's in one of those prestigious schools. I agree with him, he's an idiot. He should have just said, listen, let's call it out. I don't want to go to Auschwitz. If you want me to do community work, I go to a senior citizen center and just help old people for a couple of weeks. Okay.
Being a citizen journalist, quite literally a 180 from when I talked to him. So I called up Mo. He presses record. It's a little message. Hey, this call is being recorded. He's like, I'm with my parents or whatever. I'm like, Mo, What's going on? Like, we need some accountability. You hand up, I did it, I fucked up, I'm stupid. Like, let's try to learn from this. And he's like, well, you know, I had nothing to do with it. I felt pressured into admitting that I had anything to do with it. This is the kid who uploaded the video laughing and being like, fuck the Jews. The kid who uploaded to Instagram, he's like, well, my name's already out there.
If you see the video, it's a lot of guys. They're all drunk. You know what, David? I think the police should ID all those kids that are drinking in your bar. They looked a lot of young white kids from Philadelphia, from the suburbs. If I was there, if the police are watching this, go ID those kids before they go get drunk in there. I saw it. There was a sign. Everybody was drunk, laughing. Everybody was not normal in that photo. And I've never been in a bar. Yeah, I've been in a bar. But I've never been in such an environment or clubs or things of that nature where everybody's like drunk like that. I've never been in that situation, no.
I'm like, yeah, hey, asshole, you fucking uploaded this to Instagram. I didn't put your fucking name out there. Other people got it because you uploaded it to Instagram. You had a good laugh about it.
Believe it or not, it's free speech. A week ago, Orthodox Jews were running around in Brooklyn, like hundreds and hundreds, yelling, death to the Arabs, death to the Arabs. There's no more children in Gaza. We didn't take them to Gaza to see what their brothers did.
He's like, no, it wasn't me. I would never do that. I'm like, well, I'm getting a million DMs about you, including like another anti-Semitic joke like six months ago. I'm like, how do you explain that one if you're not ever doing anything like that? He's like,
he's a fucking idiot. I agree with you.
I really won't be able to explain that. Maybe my parents can explain that. Your parents can explain the, like, how do you find a Jew? You throw a quarter on the floor joke? This kid couldn't even, he wouldn't even admit he did. He's like, yeah, that's on a social media channel. Like, I deleted. I don't even have that anymore. Buddy, what are you doing? I'm like trying to make this.
If I was his parents, I would smack him around for being in the bar in the first place. Go ahead.
I already got suspended from Temple because you got a fuck the Jews sign at a bar and posted it on social media. What don't you get about that? Maybe if you actually learn a life lesson, maybe if people watch you go to Poland and seem like you're changed, this gets behind you. But now, no, I'm not going to send him now. I'm not going to send your ass now when you're like, I had nothing to do with it. I was being a citizen journalist. Oh, that post from 6 months ago? Yeah, my parents would have to address how that happened. You posted it. I asked him, I go, how old are you? 21. What are you, 21 going on 3? So I don't know what he thinks happened. It's really clear. A lot of people warn these kids just don't want to get in trouble. He's like, well, my name's out there. That's not about your name being out there at this point, kid, adult. It's about trying to learn something and make this a worthwhile so it's not a black mark that follows you the rest of your life. I don't need you lying. What do you think? Everyone's stupid? You're a citizen journalist?
He's an idiot. If he said that.
I'm sorry, man. Tried to throw you a lifeline and make something out of this, and you're now a citizen journalist? You had nothing to do with it? Buddy, you uploaded a video with a sign, fuck the Jews. Everyone laughed. You, Mo Khan. You.
All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Dave Portnoy here, I don't think he wanted to do anything that has anything to do with what's going on. I don't think he needed it. His brand doesn't need it. His bar doesn't need the attention that it's going to get from law enforcement. And when they see those kids drinking, they're going to get ideas. So he was trying to find a way out, and he thought by finding a way out to take him to Auschwitz. Well, I mean, they don't have to go to Auschwitz if they don't want to. It's not necessary. And if they don't go, what are you going to do? Oh, we're going to get him suspended from school. You did. You're going to lose a scholarship. He did. So what you're using is you're using overkill tactics of Jewish supremacy tactics, that you have all this connection in America, that you could do whatever you want. That's not you, Dave. I'm talking about the people who force you to do what you're doing right now. I know he has a lot of pressure. Like Ethnic Klein, the guy who's arguing with Hassan, he has the same problem. He got a phone call from the ADL. They said, you got to do something, Ethan, here. What are you doing? So Dave here, he's trying to balance it out. He thought it was going to go away. And the kid is an idiot. He goes into a new Nazi show and talks about Jews. You just make this shit harder for yourself. If you put that sign, it's free of speech. You could do any sign you want in America. It's okay. So what? As long as you don't harm people with your hands or with your actions. If you do not take, if you not make any moves that's going to become an obstacle to people's, that is going to directly hurt them, then we have an issue with you. That's when the law is broken. I don't care who you are, Mo or Joe or Lo. You should not be doing that to anybody. Now we got Dave back again. Now Dave has another problem.
All right, so I should probably just ignore this video that I just saw. But the thing about me is when I see something and I get an opinion and it bubbles up, if I don't get it out, I just...
Now Dave is becoming an idiot. I think he loves social media. He's addicted to social media like I am, but I'm sick. I can't do it as much as I want to. It takes me a long time before I decide to do anything. My brain doesn't work right. Okay, now his new problem is some idiot girl destroyed a sign of his in a subway, maybe in New York City, I don't know where. And you have to come on Twitter and tell people about it?
Combust. I may just explode. So here it is. It's not the end of the world, but there's this girl, this absolute lunatic left-wing looking like girl straight from Central Casting. Like,
okay, how do we know she's left-wing? And how do we know she's crazy or anything? You don't know that. You don't know what her politics are.
If you're like, hey, Central Casting, give me somebody who looks like an absolute left-wing crazy person, this would be it. The nose ring, the works, all of it. So she's on the subway and she's taking down ads that have my face on it. And you know, that's probably like a misdemeanor. And for some reason, the left.
See how they talk about with law? They love to draw a punishment. Oh, it's the misdemeanor. Well, I don't think it's a misdemeanor. Who cares if she did it? That's just one picture, man. I could see if she walked all over the subway and did it. But you don't need to throw the law into it. Like, look what I could do. It's a misdemeanor, guys.
Feels fine with like destroying other people's property or paid ads or whatever. Not the end of the world. But this is just a tip for the Democrats. This girl,
watch the fucking connection he's gonna make between another idiot on the subway who was pulling down his ad to get him political, to go down on the Democrats, to the liberals, then say they hate Donald Trump. His whole brand is he's trying to rebuild it because he got hurt by the fuck the Jew sign and how he handled it. Of course, most of his crowd are white, young Christians. You know, and I don't want to talk, you know, I don't like to talk in religious or ethnicities. Sometimes you have to. But Dave here, I think he's a businessman. I don't think he's a little narcissistic. You could tell by his fucking conversation. But he's about money. Everybody's about money. When you're about money, you don't want no headaches. People like to make their money in silence. Rich people, I've been around rich people. They don't like noise. They like to make money quietly in the dark.
Crazy left-wing lunatic is why, like, the Democrats may never win another election because they all have something in common. These left-wing, extreme left, crazy people. They have Trump derangement syndrome. And this girl has, like, a severe case of it. Her next post on, like, TikTok is her giving the finger to Tom Brady and Snoop. And she's like, oh, you guys can be against bullying, but you voted for Trump. And that's it. That's Trump derangement syndrome. It's crazy.
Now he wants to get on the Trump side, you know, the crowd. I got to say my brand here from the last time. It's the Trump syndrome.
Crazy to me. Like these people on the extreme left, this girl, the nose ring girl, who's ripping down the ads, they can't grasp that just if you vote for Trump, that doesn't make you a Nazi. Like, people vote for Trump, vote Republican. Maybe they want to save borders. Maybe they want to save cities. Maybe they like what he said about tariffs. There's a whole host of issues. You don't have to agree or disagree with everyone. Maybe they didn't like Biden because he had dementia and you lied about it.
You see how the conversation just went way out there here. David, I don't think you should comment on everything. I think this girl, you should have never commented on her video, whatever the fuck she did. What you did, you just give her a platform to do it again, other people to do it and get on your nerves. That's what you're doing. And now to introduce Trump into the conversation and that Joe Biden, who's a piece of shit, had dementia. I don't think it was needed in this video. I don't know why you go.
Maybe they think Kamala is incompetent. Maybe they don't trust the extreme left like you, who seemingly hate all normal white guys. So out, I just combust. I may just explode.
The magic word was maybe is guys like people like you who hate white guys. You saw it? The whole idea David is trying to reverse all the damage that was done by what happened in the bar in Philadelphia. Doesn't want to lose those customers. He needs those alcoholics in there, those white kids. So right now he just introduced the girl who ripped the poster in Manhattan or in the train to being a crazy liberal maniac who they hate Donald Trump because they have Trump syndrome. And Joe Biden, who has degenerative diseases or amnesia, whatever the fuck he has, and Kamala Harris was a piece of shit, and they hate the white guys. They hate them white guys.
Maybe they didn't like Biden because he had dementia and you lied about it. Maybe they think Kamala is incompetent. Maybe they don't trust the extreme left like you, who seemingly hate all normal white guys.
So I don't hate all white normal guys. I don't. So what are you trying to say? I mean, people hate white people?
So this is the tip. What I found with me right now in this weird space where I'm just constantly ranting, raving, the extreme left hates my guts. The extreme right hates my guts. I'm right in the middle, probably where most normal people thinking is. But you Democrats, as long as you coddle lunatics like this, who thinks it's okay to go on Subway and rip down signs because you voted for Trump, the president, newsflash, the majority of the country voted for him. That's the problem. That's the problem. They just don't get it. You think you know everything about me just because I voted for president. It's fucking lunacy.
Okay. What he was in there, just virtual signaling. That's what he did. He's trying to do damage control of what happened in that bar. That's all it is. We don't know if she voted Democrat, and she doesn't represent every Democrat, and not every Democrat agrees with her or pulls a finger at other people. And it has nothing to do with Joe Biden. It has nothing to do with Kamala Harris. And it has nothing to do with President Donald Trump. And believe it or not, it doesn't have nothing to do with white guys, because she's white too. So, So if she hates her own people, that's our problem. I think she's white, right? So I think, Dave, you're just trying to play a virtual single. You're trying to save the fucking brand from the damage that it took in Philadelphia, where you went over. Anyway, that was that. Now I have another video. Now this video is about a Russian. He's a Russian Jew who migrated to Europe, who calls himself a comedian, and he's a Zionist. And he has that YouTube show called Trigonology, whatever, with that Lebanese have white homo. And this is him, and he thinks, because he's an immigrant to Europe, now he's in the position to say that the dangers of Europe comes from Muslims and Islam, is Islam compatible with humanity? He's acting like Islam is someplace in the dark ages. 1, 2, 3. His whole shtick right now, he did an editorial, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. We're gonna watch it together. His whole idea is that he's trying to clickbait, and he needs the usual suspects. So what I'm gonna do is, since there's a lot of issue with problems with Pakistanis and British and the British economy, what I'm gonna do here, I want to talk about Islam and how dangerous Islam is to Europe. And first of all, Sharia law, whatever the fuck I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know if he's been to Dubai or Saudi Arabia or Qatar. These people are living like New York City. Let's watch this douchebag. Here you go.
Islam, a religion of peace. Lessons from Uzbekistan.
Okay, I want to ask you a question. I'm going to ask this mother. Let me see. You know what? 1, 2, 3. So Constantine here, I told you, is a Russian Jew who migrated to Britain, when he was 11 years old. So he's not in no position to decide who comes to Europe, who doesn't. You understand? Imagine if I did 11-minute editorial that the danger of Jews in Europe, how they're taking over the banks, how they are suffocating all the political movements, all the political parties, and how they're buying, their lobbying groups are buying, just normal stuff that's happening in Europe. I would be chased out of town. I would be called an anti-Semite, anti-Semitism tropes. They could do, but he wants to go in there and just walk the line. Let's see what he has to say. By the way, I looked it up. In the last 5 years, since 2019, maybe 9 incidents that has to do with terrorism that are related to Muslims. About 2 or 3 people died. There are more people who died from homegrown left-wing nut jobs in Europe or right-wing in Europe. Let's see. Wow, here we go. He actually went there.
Western Europe has been engaged in a raging debate about mass immigration for at least a decade. Oh. If you accepted the statement I just made without objection, you have, like most people, swallowed what is at best a polite fiction and at worst a deliberate misframing of the problem.
Yeah.
The claim that the debate is about mass immigration is fraudulent on at least 2 levels. First, while we argue about stopping illegal immigration...
First of all, why are you a preferred immigrant? Why? And I want you to notice about this guy, he always put a lot of light. He wants to look as... He has this issue with his dark. He's very dark. He looks more dark than me. I'm fucking beautiful. So when you watch his show, he puts a lot of makeup. And you always put a light where his face will be lighter and will look more whiter. Because his audience is mostly white. Young men who are against... woke culture, the same thing he has as David has, the same audience or the same thinking audience he has. Now, he knows I'm going to go to the lower hanging fruit. I'm going to go today do a show about Islam and how dangerous it is in Europe. While Muslims been there for centuries. They fought in World War I for Britain. They fought in World War II for Britain. They fought in every war, and they worked for Europe. They were colonized by the English. So what the fuck are you talking about?
And keeping legal immigration manageable, the reality is that the concerns most people have are not about the future or even the present. They're about the past. Dig even slightly under the surface of anti-immigration sentiment and you will discover that the core concern for many is not what might happen, but what has already happened. In other words, the debate is not about mass immigration, but about the impact of the immigration that occurred not only in recent years, but sometimes in decades past. Second, the great unsayable in polite society is that not all immigrants are the same. Britain, for example, experienced a wave of Polish and Romanian immigration in the 2000s. Since 2022, millions of Ukrainians fleeing Putin's invasion have been given refuge across the continent. Hundreds of thousands of Hong Kongers have escaped the Chinese Communist Party's crackdown by coming here too. Scour as you might, you will struggle to find any anti-Polish sentiment beyond the very fringes of our societies. There is no need for a debate about preventing societal discrimination against Ukrainians, because no such discrimination exists. Hong Kongers appear to be doing just fine. The rise of anti-immigration parties across Europe is not a response to mass immigration per se. It's a response to the importation of large numbers of people from what even the bravest of our politicians euphemistically call incompatible cultures.
Okay, let me tell you what the incompatible cultures are. In Britain, 20% of doctors or specialists are Muslims. They only represent 6% of the population. These are in the NIH healthcare who declare their faith. Some of them don't even declare it. 12% of British dentists are Muslims. From a population that only makes 6%. There are a lot of professional people in Europe, and they do a lot of good if they're part of the NIH system, if they're doctors and dentists and nurses. And this guy is just talking out of his ass. He had nothing to talk about. He wants to look like he's doing these editorial thing with the lamb and behind him. He got the looks all right.
To them, the problem is not immigration, it's Islam. There are 3 broad schools of thought on this issue. The progressive response is the head in the sand mantra of diversity is our greatest strength. Yeah. The slogan, mindlessly repeated, is a proxy for a whole host of dishonesties.
Rothschild!
First, and for as long as possible, they will pretend that there is no problem. When Islamist terrorism is discussed, they will immediately try to...
Look it up. Only 2 such incident happened in 2023. And since 2019, maybe nine incidents or 10 incidents. There is no problem. This is a problem. This is a solution looking for a problem. He had nothing to do that day. He needed something. He needed content. I'm going to go to the Muslims and just talk about them because anti-Islamic sentiments are very high right now in Europe. Good.
Contextualize the debate by talking about far-right violence and other threats. Their concerns are not incorrect in that the far right does have a violent fringe, and our police and security services must remain vigilant in dealing with it. But the fact remains, 75% of MI5's caseload involves Islamist terrorism, with over 90% of the 43,000 people on MI5's
2,000 Muslims. If I told you, go look up the word demographic unit in New York. In New York, from 2001 to 2013, there was a unit, a police unit that spied on all Muslims in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. They used to go to mosque and pray. They used to go to Arab restaurants. They dealt with Arabs. They didn't even find one guy or person did any problem. So it doesn't mean if you're being harassed and monitored by a spy agency, it doesn't mean you're a criminal. It doesn't mean that. So you're throwing all these percentages, 75% out of what? Out of 10 cases? Out of 10? How many cases was there? Good.
Extremists. To understand this in its actual context, consider that only 6% of people in Britain are Muslim. In other words, Islamist extremism is not only a huge problem, it's a disproportionately huge problem. Western Europe has been engaged in such discrimination exists. Hong Kongers appear. The progressive response load involves Islamist terrorism, with over 90% of the 43,000 people on MI5's terror watch list being Islamist extremists. To understand this in its actual context, consider that only 6% of people in Britain are Muslim. In other words, Islamist extremism is not only a huge problem, it's a disproportionately huge problem. Second,
there is no, come on, I don't know how to pronounce it, disproportionately problem. No, it's not. I just told you 2 cases happened in 23 to 24. Some idiot probably was homegrown anyway. So you're just up there talking out of your ass, my friend. I find it unbelievable. All these Zionists and Jewish accounts are working overnight to demonize Muslim in Western Europe and Western society. They see us as a threat by being citizens of the same countries they've been in. We are good citizens. We pay our taxes. We're good. We raise our kids right. We have family values. You know, actually, we have more in common with conservative Western society than liberal society.
Once people who hold this view are forced to confront some measure of reality and accept the problem exists, they will pivot to blaming causes like poverty, discrimination, alienation, and so on. They will ignore the fact of migration for at least a decade. If you accept, and for as long as possible, they will pretend that there is no problem. When Islamist terrorism is discussed, they will immediately try to contextualize the debate by talking about far-right violence and other threats. Their concerns are not incorrect and in some ways equal an opposite school of thought. According to this perspective, the problem is not Islamism, it's Islam itself. And naturally, this group is diverse and not easily quantified. Some are ex-Muslims or those who have dealt with the reality of Islamist extremism and violence, like Gad Saad, who says, there is no radical Islam, there's simply Islam. This is
that's another Zionist douchebag. I have a video of him making up all these lies on Joe Rogan. Both these assholes been on Joe Rogan, and he's using as a source a racist, anti-Arab, anti-Muslim scumbag in Canada called Assad, whatever his name is, who's a scumbag just like him, who work day and night to demonize Muslims and Arabs who live in Western society. I've been in America my whole life, my friend, and we are very good people. We don't bother nobody. As a matter of fact, we are very successful people. We are very successful people in America. Thank you.
evidently also the view of Islamists themselves. They claim that there is only one way to be a Muslim, which is to seek to impose Islamic values on the whole world, introduce Sharia, and subjugate non-believers.
I wonder where are the Muslim armies banging in with Europe? Let's say how many air bases there are of Muslim countries in European countries. Who've been getting bombed for the last 30 years? Iraq was bombed and lost 1 million people under the pretext of weapons of mass destruction. Afghanistan was in a war for 20 years. And now they want to bomb Iran. Now they're killing his brothers and sisters there in Israel. The Jews, the Zionists, are killed more than 75,000 Palestinians. But the problem is Islam. That's the problem. Because they want you to become a Muslim. How many missionaries are there in Western countries?
And those of other faiths. If you think I'm exaggerating their intentions, you probably haven't read enough Islamist literature, such as this or this.
So somebody wrote a book. Who gives a fuck? Who are these people? They don't represent 1.5 billion people or 2 billion people.
To this camp, the fact that most Muslims are decent, peaceful people is irrelevant because to this view, they are so in spite of the teachings of.
I don't need you to bear witness how decent I am, you fucking piece of shit, you filthy animals, you hateful Zionist scumbags. You'll do anything to cover for Israel and its genocidal behavior. Those are your people who are killing children, not my people, okay? We haven't killed people in like 100 years, okay? As a matter of fact, most of ISIS, all those were intelligence operation, Western intelligence operation, they set it up. And most of the victims were Muslims. They were killing Muslims.
Their religion. Furthermore, many will argue that some moderate Muslims are only moderate in the sense that they're unwilling to engage in acts of extremism, but support and excuse those who do. As evidence, they will cite worrying surveys such as this one suggesting that British Muslims are more likely to view Hamas positively than negatively. It goes without saying that hiding amongst honest critics of the doctrines of Islam are garden variety bigots who simply hate Muslims for being different, foreign and alien. But this does not mean that believing the doctrines of Islam are liable to produce violence and oppression makes you a bigot, despite what those in the first camp would like you to believe. The problem I've always had with this argument, though, is that there are many countries around the world which are majority Muslim, and some with large Muslim minorities like Singapore, which appear to have dealt with Islamist extremism far better than we have in Western Europe. I saw this myself in Uzbekistan, where I lived between 80.
Mind you, Uzbekistan is a fucking former Russian country who were mostly atheists. I don't know how he came to that conclusion. He probably went back home to see his old country of Russia.
And 1990, and again when I returned there last week. This is why, while remaining open-minded to different perspectives and claiming no expertise, I lean towards the third camp, people who believe that religious extremism is a problem which has a tried and tested solution. My latest trip to Uzbekistan is a case in point. Islam is everywhere. The most prominent contemporary and historical buildings are mosques and madrasas.
Wow.
It is not uncommon to be awakened in your hotel at 5 a.m. by the Islamic call to prayer.
My gosh.
Many men wear skull caps called tibitekas, while women dress modestly. Some sport headscarves and traditional outfits which cover the full length of their arms and legs. Popular boys' names here include Muhammad, Mustafa, Ali, Muslim, Abdullah, and Ibrahim.
Isn't me, this motherfucker is an Islamophobe? This whole segment has not made any sense. Since we don't know what's he's projecting. What is the objective of this whole video? We don't know. I already told you that Muslims do represent 6% of the population in Britain, but represent almost 20 to 25% of doctors, 12% of dentists. They are professional people who work hard and keep it moving.
The country's first president after the fall of the Soviet Union was called Islam Karimov. But not Islam is everywhere too. Alcohol is sold in shops and many restaurants, not just for foreigners, but for anyone who wants to buy it. Many, and I would say most, girls and women wear jeans, trousers, knee-length skirts, and other secular clothing, especially in the cities. I saw a woman in one of those black bags, one woman tells us in a disapproving tone. You could see her face, but that was it. This is not our way. Traditional Uzbek women's attire is a kaleidoscope of colors and does not cover a woman's hair. What about them, I ask, pointing to a gaggle of young women in hijabs. That's not ours either. They brought that crap here from Turkey, she says with a dismissive wave of the hand. The only place you'll find veils in Uzbekistan is museums. Burqas are banned in public places. Don't get me wrong, this isn't Venice Beach. You won't see crop tops, bikinis and vulva-hugging leggings here. But neither will you see those in Armenia, a Christian country not far from Uzbekistan, where I spend a lot of time. It's a traditional society thing, not a Muslim thing.
Oh, gosh.
Tourists wearing summer dresses, shorts, skirts and other less conservative attire are safe and treated with respect. The few churches and synagogues you'll find in Uzbekistan are protected and well maintained. Most Christians and Jews have left.
So far, I have not learned anything what he's trying to say. All he's saying is crazy shit, that Islam's the problem. And he went to a Muslim country called Uzbekistan, and he saw people selling drinks and alcohol, people getting drunk, and people living their life. So what's the problem here? Where's the problem?
For America, Europe or Israel, but not because of persecution or oppression. When the USSR collapsed, opportunities for the well-educated dried up, and they left in search of a better life, as many did from non-Muslim Soviet countries too. I'm an Armenian, our driver tells us. I've lived here since 1994. We have no ethnic issues here.
See?
At Easter, my Muslim friends come to my house to celebrate with me. For their holidays, I go round to theirs.
So what's the problem here? Why are you making this video? Everybody's living happy except you.
At every opportunity, I broach the subject of extremism with what turns out to be unnecessary sensitivity. There is no serious problem with radical Islam here because the people in charge understand the threat and are prepared to deal with it. It's simple. If you want to pray, go for it. If you want to cover your hair, that's your choice. I don't do either, a guide tells us. The rules are clear. You can do what you want, but if you want to work for the government, you can't wear a headscarf and the men must shave their beards, she adds. My obvious joke about hipsters gets the polite smile it deserves. It seems that particular trend has yet to reach Uzbekistan. Later, we're told about a father who sent his daughter to school with her hair covered. He got a big fine. As the conversation winds on, I learn something relevant and important for us here in Europe. I'm a Muslim, a woman in a cafe tells me, her face filled with worry. What's happening in Afghanistan? It's crazy. They are our neighbors, and we do not want that here. I consider lightening the mood by accusing her of Islamophobia, but decide against it. To women here, this is no laughing matter. Their Afghan sisters across the border are forced to cover themselves from head to toe, denied access to work and education, and can only travel.
And those are extreme son of a bitches who do not represent the actual teaching of Islam. Islam advocates for the education of men, women, the same way. Yes, they want separate classroom. They don't want their girls to walk around naked. They don't want their girls to walk around in bikinis. They don't want their kids to say they don't want to see their boys being taught that they're not boys but women, and they don't want to see their daughters say they're not females but males. They don't want none of that culture that you represent. That's what you represent, my friend. You represent everything that is wrong and decadence in societies.
Travel outside the home with a male chaperone. She recounts a story of some Islamists who were let out of prison in Uzbekistan. They started some trouble, but thank God our security services dealt.
How could they be Islamists if they're criminals?
With them. You cannot let extremists flourish. From your lips to God's ears, I think to myself. Perhaps one day we in the West will have leaders with the courage to understand such simple realities as well.
All right, go fuck yourself. That shit didn't make no. Did that make sense to you? That did not make sense to me. I didn't even know what was the objective of the whole video. Islam is bad, but it's good. But it's good is bad. Wearing that hijab, covering your hair is a problem. Let me tell you, my friend, what we have. This is our different. Our different is we believe that our children should be taught to respect themselves and respect others. We believe that our daughters should be composed, moderate, and dress well and function with self-respect in society, not to be taken advantage or exploited by the movies or by the society that tell them it's okay to be naked, it's going to be nude, it's okay to have sex before marriage, it's okay to have children out of wedlock, it's okay for you to marry another woman, it's okay for your son to marry another man. We have issues with that. If that's the way Western society wants to live, good luck. We have no issue, and we have no power to stop it. We are minorities, but we do choose to live the way we want to, and we want to live like that. And we call out that we want Western governments to be more conservative, more socially conservative, and to protect our children and their children from the decadence of movies and people like him. He's a decadent human being. This whole issue is why women are wearing scarves, why men are. I didn't even understand the video. I swear to God, I didn't understand nothing. It's just for clickbait. He probably got himself about $100, $200 out of it. I hope it poisons him. Okay, let's go. The last video is of our friend and lovable Tim Dillon. We all love him. Don't you all love? We all love Tim Dillon. We're going to give him the whole thing. Go ahead, Tim. Tim.
People that we need to bomb as many children as humanly possible until Israel feels comfortable. That's just an...
Wait, hold on. Let's start the video from the beginning. This is Tim Dillon. He's talking about, what is his name?
Every now and then, they throw a person at you.
He's
this establishment, which again is not, it's amorphous. It's not left or right. Like, for example, Sam Harris, who's a liberal but critical of Islam and pro-free speech, but not pro-all free speech.
Listen to the
who's
comedian.
A very smart guy, but kind of hard to pinpoint.
This is a real comedian here. That's not like that.
Who runs a meditation app, but also believes that Israel should just bomb anyone at any time that it thinks. It is hilarious to be a guy who runs a meditation app, and he spends half the time telling people about breathing and how to self-actualize, and the other half of the time telling people that we need to bomb as many children as humanly possible until Israel feels comfortable. That's just an interesting archetype of person. It just is. Okay, I want everybody right now to breathe.
Yep.
I want you to breathe in and out. I want you to breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. I want to start from your breath and start from your breathing. What we need to do is indiscriminately bomb women and children. We need to indiscriminately bomb women and children right now. Imagine you're a drone.
This is how comedians
feel the freedom of being a drone. Feel the freedom of being a drone. I want you to focus on your breath. Focus on your breath and feel the freedom of being a drone. Where would you fly if you were a drone? Iran? I think you'd fly right to Iran. You'd fly to Iran and eliminate their nuclear capability. You'd do it before you even had the chance to find a diplomatic solution. I want you to breathe. I want you to breathe in and out right now. I want you to imagine an apartment complex. There's children playing soccer outside. Now it's gone. It's gone because there were bad people in it. Now they're all gone. Now it's rubble. And I know it's sad, but it's necessary. Collateral damage. I want you to say 2 words. Collateral damage. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your breathing. Manifest the reality you want to see. Do people from Gaza still live there? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They're gone. Where are they? We don't know. Focus on your breathing. In and out. In and out. It's an interesting archetype of person to be. This is what I mean. You can't pinpoint people anymore.
Like
it's not as simple as my aunt whose daughter is non-binary.
All right, there you have it. This is the great Tim Dillon. He's a great comedian. And when you watch his podcast, it's a lot of chaos the way he talks, but when he's talking chaos, he's making a lot of sense anyway. So we saw the last comedian to claim to be a comedian, Islam, and the problem of Islam and the danger of Islam in Europe, from a person who's an immigrant who has nothing to do with Europe, who's feeding off the same thing that everybody is. Anyway, and I had a good time. I got to go, man. Got to watch the playoff. The Knicks, just fucking unbelievable. You saw what the Knicks did? Unbelievable. I was screaming out the window, man. I'll see you next time. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Take
Yeah, bitch so bad I wanna shoot like hoops while I'm riding in the coupe. I got what you want, it ain't nothing but a loop. Don't listen to friends, they don't know what's best for you. I want you, yeah, bad I wanna shoot like hoops while I'm riding in the coupe. I got what you want, it ain't nothing but a loop. Don't listen to friends, they don't know what's best for you. I want you, yeah, I wanna shoot. Girl, you too bad for me not to press you, yeah. Young fly I do my money too long. I got homies for your friends and we can group on. We are early, hit our shot like Curry. Bitch, I wanna shoot like hoops while I'm riding in the coupe. I got what you